Welcome to my channel, Real English Fluency, and thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate your time and support. Today, we will learn about 5 simple techniques to memorize anything faster. If you study something again and again, but forget it after a short time, this video is for you. Stay with me until the end, because these simple techniques can change the way you learn and remember. And before we start, tell me in the comments, do you also forget things soon after learning them? Technique 1. Understand before you memorize. The first technique is simple, but it can change the way you learn. Before you try to memorize something, understand it first. Many people read the same thing again and again. They repeat the same word many times. They study for a long time, but later they forget most of it. Then they start thinking, maybe I have a bad memory. But your memory may not be the real problem. The problem may be the way you're learning. Your brain remembers things better when they have meaning. So, when you learn something new, do not rush to memorize every word. First, stop and ask yourself, what does this mean? Think about learning a new English word. Imagine the word is generous. You can repeat it 20 times. Generous, generous, generous. But after a few hours, you may forget it. Instead, understand the meaning first. Generous means a person who likes to give and share with others. Imagine a kind person giving food to someone who needs it. Imagine that person smiling and helping. Suddenly, the word becomes more than just letters on a page. You have an idea in your mind. That idea gives your brain something meaningful to remember. The same thing works with school subjects. If you're learning a history lesson, do not only memorize the dates. Try to understand what happened. Ask yourself why it happened. Think about what happened before it and what happened after it. When you understand the story, the facts become easier to remember. English works in the same way. Imagine you're learning the word exhausted. You could repeat it many times, but first understand it. Exhausted means very tired. Now picture yourself after a long day. You worked for many hours. You come home, sit on a chair, and feel completely tired. You say, I am exhausted. The word is now connected to a real situation. Your brain has something to hold on to. This is much stronger than simple repetition. There is another useful habit you can practice. After learning something, close your book and explain it in your own words. Do not worry about using perfect English. Use simple words. Explain the idea as if you're talking to a friend. If you can explain it clearly, you probably understand it. If you cannot, that is okay. Go back to the lesson and try again. This small habit can show you what you really know. Sometimes we look at a page and think, yes, I understand this. But when we close the book, we cannot explain anything. That is the difference between seeing information and actually learning it. So, every time you learn something new, give yourself a few seconds to think, what does it mean? Why is it important? How can I explain it in simple words? These questions make your brain work with the information instead of simply looking at it. This is especially helpful when learning English. Do not only memorize a list of words, learn what each word means. See how people use it. Make a simple sentence. Connect it with something from your own life. If the word is excited, think about something that makes you excited. If the word is tired, think about a time when you felt tired. Personal connections can make new information feel more real. And when something feels real, it becomes easier to remember. So, do not tell yourself that you have a bad memory. You may simply need a better way to learn. You do not always need more hours. You need more understanding. Give your brain meaning before you ask it to remember. Once information has meaning, it becomes much easier to build a strong memory around it. And there is another simple way to make that memory even stronger. You can turn words and ideas into pictures inside your mind. This can make learning more interesting, more active, and much easier to remember. Technique 2. Turn information into pictures. Your brain does not only remember words, it also remembers pictures, faces, places, and experiences. This gives you a simple way to make learning easier. When you learn something new, try to create a picture of it in your mind. Do not just look at the word, try to see it. Imagine you are learning the English word apple. You can read the word again and again, but there is a better way. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a big red apple in your hand. See its color, see its shape. Imagine taking a bite. Maybe you can even imagine its taste. The word apple is no longer just letters on a page. It is connected to something you can see and feel. This can make the word easier to remember. You can use the same idea with many English words. If you learn the word beautiful, imagine a beautiful garden full of flowers. If you learn the word angry, imagine someone with an angry face. If you learn the word cold, imagine yourself outside on a cold morning. The picture does not have to be perfect. You do not need a powerful imagination. A simple picture is enough. You can also make your pictures funny or unusual. This is very useful because strange things often catch our attention. Let us try a small memory challenge. Imagine that you need to remember 5 words: book, elephant, bicycle, pizza, and moon. You could repeat these 5 words many times, but try something different. Create one crazy picture. Imagine a huge elephant riding a bicycle. The elephant is holding a book. It is eating a large piece of pizza. Suddenly, the bicycle starts flying toward the moon. It sounds crazy, but that is exactly why it can be memorable. You have turned 5 separate words into one strange scene. When you remember the elephant, it can remind you of the bicycle. The bicycle can remind you of the book. The book can remind you of the pizza. Then the pizza can remind you of the moon. One picture can help you remember several things. This technique is especially useful for English learners. Imagine you're learning the word confident. Do not only memorize the meaning. Imagine yourself standing in front of a group of people. You are speaking clearly. You are looking at the people. You are not afraid. You feel strong and confident. The word is now connected to a picture and a feeling that can make it easier to remember and easier to use later. You can also use your other senses. If you are learning the word rain, imagine dark clouds in the sky. Hear the sound of rain. Feel the cold drops on your hand. Maybe imagine the smell of wet ground. You are giving your brain more details to connect with the word. You can use this method for names too. If someone tells you, "My name is Daniel," try to connect the name with something you notice about him. Maybe Daniel is wearing a blue shirt. Picture Daniel and the blue shirt together. Later, that picture may help you remember his name. You can also use mental pictures when studying lessons, speeches, and facts. If you need to remember a place, picture the place. If you need to remember an object, picture the object. If you need to remember an action, imagine someone doing it. The goal is simple. Turn dry information into something your mind can see. Learning does not have to feel boring. You can make it more active and more interesting. The next time you learn something, ask yourself, what does this look like? Then create a simple picture. Make it clear. Make it unusual if you can. Give your brain something interesting to remember. But pictures become even more powerful when you connect several pieces of information together. Instead of remembering 5 things separately, you can turn them into one simple story. Technique 3. Connect information with a story. Sometimes one piece of information is easy to remember. But what happens when you have many things to remember at the same time? Maybe you have 10 new English words. Maybe you have several points for an exam. Maybe you need to remember the main ideas of a speech. Looking at all of them separately can make your mind feel tired. You may even think, there is too much to remember. One simple solution is to connect the information with a story. Stories are easier to follow because one thing leads to another. Think about a movie you watched and really enjoyed. You probably do not remember every sentence from the movie, but you remember what happened. You remember the people, the places, and the important moments because they were connected. You can use the same idea when you study. Imagine that you need to remember 5 English words: phone, water, teacher, car, and mountain. You can repeat these words again and again, but some may disappear from your memory. Instead, create a strange little story. Imagine your teacher sitting inside a car. He is talking on a phone. Suddenly, the car starts floating on water. Then it moves toward a huge mountain. The scene is strange. That is good. Your brain pays attention to things that are unusual. You now have one story instead of 5 separate words. When you remember your teacher, you may remember the phone. The phone reminds you of the car. The car reminds you of the water. The water reminds you of the mountain. One memory leads you to the next one. This is what makes the technique so useful. You can use it to learn English vocabulary too. Imagine you have 5 new words today: hungry, restaurant, money, friend, and happy. Instead of memorizing them one by one, create a simple story. Imagine that you are very hungry. You go to a restaurant with your friend. You order your favorite food, but then you realize that you forgot your money. Your friend pays for you. You eat your meal and feel very happy. Look at what happened. 5 words became one small story. When you remember the story, the words come back with it. You can make your own stories as simple as you want. They do not need to be perfect. They do not need to make complete sense. In fact, a funny story can be even better. You can also use this technique when preparing a speech. Many people try to memorize every single sentence. Then they become nervous when they forget one sentence. Instead, remember the main points. Give each point a simple picture. Then connect those pictures in your mind. When you start speaking, One idea can remind you of the next idea. You do not need to remember every word exactly. You only need to remember the path. This can help you speak with more confidence. The same method can help with school lessons. Imagine you have several steps to remember. Turn each step into part of a simple story. Picture the first step. Then picture the second step happening after it. Continue until you reach the final step. After that, close your book and try to tell the story from memory. If you forget something, go back and try again. Do not become frustrated. You are training your brain to connect information. The important idea is this: do not give your brain many separate pieces and hope it remembers everything. Give those pieces a connection. Let one memory lead to another. This can make learning easier and can reduce the stress you feel before an exam or presentation. You can even use this technique in everyday life. If you have several things to buy, create a funny story with all the items. If you need to remember several tasks, connect them in your mind. The more you practice, the more natural this method will become. But there is one problem. Even a strong story can become weaker if you never return to it. You may remember it today and forget parts of it next week. That is completely normal. Your brain needs reminders. You need to bring important information back into your mind again and again. It will show you how to review what you learn without spending hours studying the same thing. Technique 4. Review before you forget. You can understand information. You can create pictures. You can connect ideas with a story. But there is one more thing you need to do if you want that information to stay in your memory. You need to review it. Forgetting is normal. It happens to everyone. You can learn something today and remember it very well. Then a few days later, you may remember only a small part of it. This does not mean you are not intelligent. It simply means your brain needs a reminder. Think about learning a new English word. You learn the word comfortable today. You understand the meaning. You make a sentence with it. You feel like you know it. But if you never see or use the word again, your memory of it may become weaker. So, instead of studying the word for 1 hour today and never looking at it again, review it for a few minutes at different times. Learn it today. Test yourself later today. Look at it again tomorrow. Review it again after a few days, then come back to it the following week. You do not need to spend a long time each time. A few focused minutes can be enough. Every review tells your brain that this information is important. There's another important part of reviewing. Try to remember before you look at the answer. This is called active recall, but the name is not important. The idea is simple. Test your memory. Imagine you learn the word exhausted. Close your book and ask yourself, what does exhausted mean? Do not look at the answer immediately. Give your brain a few seconds. Maybe you remember it. Maybe you do not. If you remember it, great. If you forget it, look at the meaning and try again later. That small effort is useful. Your brain is working to find the information. This is different from simply reading your notes. When you read the answer, you may think, yes, I know this. But seeing something and remembering something are not the same. Try this with 5 English words. Write the words on one side of a page, then hide the meanings. Look at each word and try to say the meaning without checking. You can do the same thing with grammar rules, school lessons, names, facts, and even speeches. Ask yourself questions. Answer them without looking at your notes. This makes your brain practice remembering. You can also review while doing normal activities. You can test yourself while walking. You can think about new English words while traveling. You can explain a lesson to yourself while sitting in your room. Learning does not always need a desk and a book. What matters is that you bring the information back into your mind. Do not worry if you forget something during a review. Forgetting gives you a chance to practice again. In fact, that small struggle can be useful. When your brain works hard to find an answer, the memory can become stronger. So, do not get angry with yourself when you forget. Take a breath. Look at the answer. Learn it again. Then test yourself later. Be patient with yourself. Good memory is not built in one day. It becomes stronger through small efforts repeated over time. You do not need to study for 5 hours every day. You need to return to the important information regularly. Think of your memory like a path. Every time you walk on that path, it becomes easier to find. The same thing happens with information. The more often you return to it, the easier it becomes to remember. So, make review a normal part of your learning. Learn something today. Test yourself later. Review it tomorrow. Come back to it after a few days. Keep using it. This simple habit can save you from learning the same thing again and again from the beginning. But there is still one final piece. Remembering information is useful, but using that information makes it even stronger. The final technique will show you how to take what you learn and bring it into real life. Technique 5, use what you learn. The final technique is one of the most useful. Use what you learn. Many people spend hours reading books, watching lessons, and taking notes. They learn new words and understand new ideas, but then they close the book and move on. After a few days, much of the information is gone. The reason is simple. Information becomes stronger when you use it. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. You can watch many videos about riding. You can read books about bicycles. You can understand how everything works. But you will not truly learn until you get on the bicycle and ride it. Learning works in a similar way. If you learn a new English word, use it. Do not only read it, make a sentence with it. Say the sentence aloud. Write it down. Use the word when you talk to someone. Imagine you learn the word confident. Do not just memorize its meaning. Say, I feel confident today. Then use it again tomorrow. You can even talk to yourself and create a small conversation. This may feel strange at first, but it is a very useful habit. When you use a word again and again, your brain starts to understand that the word is useful, and useful information is easier to keep. You can use the same method with facts and ideas. If you learn something interesting, explain it to someone. If there is nobody around, explain it to yourself. Pretend you are the teacher. Stand in front of a mirror and explain the idea in simple words. You do not need perfect English. Just try to explain what you learned. When you teach something, you have to think about it carefully. You have to remember the important parts. You have to put your thoughts in the right order. This gives your brain more practice. It also helps you notice what you still do not understand. You can use this method with school subjects too. After studying a lesson, close your book and explain the lesson as if you are teaching a younger student. If you can explain it simply, you are building a stronger memory. You can also connect learning with your daily life. Imagine you learn the sentence, I usually wake up at 7. Do not leave that sentence inside your notebook. Use it when you talk about your day. Say, I usually wake up at 7. I drink water. I have breakfast. Then I go to work. Suddenly, English becomes part of your real life. You are not only studying English, you are using English. That is a big difference. Try to make your learning personal too. If you learn the word excited, connect it with something that makes you excited. If you learn tired, use it when you feel tired. If you learn beautiful, describe something beautiful around you. When a new word becomes connected to your own life, it can become easier to remember. This is why you should ask yourself one simple question after learning something. How can I use this today? Maybe you can speak it. Maybe you can write it. Maybe you can teach it. Maybe you can explain it to someone. Just use it. Do not wait until you feel ready. Use simple English. Make mistakes. Correct yourself. Try again. Every time you use what you learned, you are giving your brain another chance to remember it. Now think about all 5 techniques together. First, understand what you learn. Second, turn information into pictures. Third, connect information with a story. Fourth, review it before you forget. Fifth, use what you learn. These techniques work even better when you combine them. You do not need to change everything today. Start small. Choose 5 English words, understand their meanings, create pictures for them, put them into a simple story, review them tomorrow, then use them in your own sentences. Do this regularly, and you will slowly notice a difference. You may remember more words. You may understand lessons faster. You may feel more confident when speaking. Most importantly, stop telling yourself that you have a bad memory. Your memory can improve. Your brain can learn. You can become better with practice. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to keep going. Start with one word. Learn it. Remember it. Use it. Then do it again with the next word. Small steps can create big changes. Your memory is not your limit. The way you learn can change your results. So start today. Trust yourself and keep learning. If you enjoyed this lesson, do not stop here. Try these 5 techniques today and see how much easier learning can become. Remember, you do not need a perfect memory. You need the right method and regular practice. Now I want to hear from you. Which technique will you try first? Write the name of your favorite technique in the comments. If this video helped you, please like the video and share it with someone who also wants to learn faster. And if you want more simple English lessons, learning tips, and useful techniques, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Keep learning, keep practicing, and never stop improving. See you in the next video.